Well, here's the work that I got done on this door. I had to reconstruct these inner corners. Add a piece on the bottom. Welds are ugly, but solid. And yeah, fits in the hole. And then on this side, so unfortunately, I was going to use the skin I bought, but they sent me the wrong one. So I had to use that for pieces to do these corners. Had a flange on it. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to have to try my hand at making my own skin on the bottom of this. So wish me luck. We'll see how it goes. Alrighty, well, I think I said that they sent the wrong skin for the door, so I just got the new one yesterday, and was able to finish up the door skin and the fender, and yeah, I think that's most of the rust repair. The only thing I have left to do for welding is underneath, just making sure the previous repairs are good, and when I get the rear suspension and transmission out, if it's going to need anything else underneath. But there's the skin in place, welded up. Gaps look decent. I don't have the hinges on the door yet, but good enough for now. There's the patch down there that I did on the fender. And then this is the patch through here that I did up here on the top. The previous guy had like done some brass braze work and stuff, and it did not look very good. And then this is the bit around the headlight. Got that welded in, finished up. It's pretty smooth. I think the next thing for this is try to strip as much paint off and get it coated, or do some body work, I guess. Probably have to clean up some welds still, and do some brush on seam sealer. So I guess the next step is brush on seam sealer. Well, no, I'm gonna weld the frame stuff first. Underneath, brush on seam sealer. And then, well, before the brush on seam sealer, I should probably sand it. So I'll have to sand and strip paint, all this old paint. And then do the brush on seam sealer. And then start coating it with some red oxide primer. And then start with the farm paint. And then once that's done, I gotta start reassembling. So that's awesome. Once I get that other stuff that I said taken care of, well, before that, I'm actually gonna pull the rear axle, because all the bushings and stuff need to go through there, and I got a sway bar and some lowering springs to go on that. And I need to figure out exactly which axle that is, so I can get the rebuild kit to rebuild that. And then I gotta pull the transmission out. Pull the transmission out. Put that in the other garage and get that ready for assembly. Then once I have the red oxide primer on, and the green, I suppose, I can start throwing down some acoustic sound deadening stuff. It just kind of went over top of paint. So yeah, progress. that's good. Get the rust taken care of. There is a bit of a high spot here, right through here, and a little tin canning. So I might cut a little slit in here and then re-weld it and try to get some of that hump out. So that's the only, and then it's a little low here. So I got to decide how much I care and if I'm gonna do some Bondo to fill that, or if I'm gonna fiddle with the door a bit more to get that good. But it's a heck of a lot better than it was before. Like, the work that was done on that was just horrendous. And the bottom of the door was falling apart. So now that's all structured, put back together, durable. Front fender, pieced back together, looking good. Aside from all the layers of paint on it. Yeah. Anyway, that be her. I'll give you another update when I make some more progress. But yeah, that's it for today. I forgot. I mentioned I was going to try my hand at doing a skin. And after spending 3 hours trying to make one with the curves and everything, I got close. But like, it's kind of denty and it's not perfectly straight. I figured if I had a metal brake that I could do a perfect 90-degree straight line flange, which is what these doors have on the bottom of them, then I could have put some curvature in them and made it work. But to be honest, these skins are not nearly as curvy as what I was making. And I didn't have a pipe anvil big enough for that big a panel, so I was basically just using the sandbag and the wood mallet to try to get this curve in. For the most part, it looked half decent, but it just didn't, yeah, like I spent hours and it wasn't gonna be straight on the bottom, and I couldn't live with that, so I just ordered one. I think I was trying to do that last week on like Friday or something. So yeah, totally worth the skin on the door. I did have to cut the edges off of it though, because I had to kind of change the shape of this door a bit. I had to shorten it up on the bottom because I wanted to make sure the lower outer rocker lined up with the rear quarter, and that put it a little higher than usual. So I ended up having to take probably about, I don't know, quarter of an inch tops, maybe, out of the bottom of this door, just so it wouldn't rub when it opened and shut. But to get the skin to fit on here, I basically trimmed off the ends that would typically be bent over. You can see there on the bottom, the flange there. So that flange would typically be bent over with the hammer and then clamped in. But what I did is I fit the outer skin, and then I used Fitzy's Fab technique, and he just gets the flange about the width it needs to be, and just end welds it, which is what I did. So I just end welded that, and that made it so that the curvature was a little nicer on the panel, because they come very flat. And when I did the skin on the other door, I actually had to cut into the side flanges to get it to kind of wrap around a little better, because it was super vertical, super straight up and down. I'm sure they do that for shipping, but yeah. Anyway, so I cut the inner flange basically right off, and then left the bottom 90-degree flange that spot welded to the bottom of the inner skin of the door, and then wrapped this, clamped it, and then just spot welded, well, not spot welded, but put a seam basically all the way up on the outside, connecting the two pieces on either side in the front of the door and the back. That's worked out nice, and that's what Fitzy does his door skins like. He makes making those door skins look real easy. If I had a pipe anvil, like I have some pipe down here, and I was considering if I could build one off of my I-beam and weld up that pipe or something so I could make a pipe anvil so I could put a nice even curvature in it, because I didn't like how that mallet was putting dimples in it. You can see the dimples here. That was the other thing that kind of sent me. So yeah, last week I fiddled around with this. Didn't end up as nice as I would like. I mean, you can sight down this and you can see it's not super straight. You can see the wowie right there. So every time I shut the door on this side, if I would have saw that, it kind of would have frustrated me. So that's why I ended up buying the skin. But yeah, if I had the 90-degree brake, and if I built a pipe anvil that would have been wide enough maybe to receive this piece, maybe then I could have did the skin. But even then, like the initial bend at the bottom after that 90 degree was really tight. So I don't know if I would have been able to have done it in a pipe anvil. I probably would have had to have used the brake and just kind of gently bent it out a bit, and then kind of work the curvature in the pipe angle, but the pipe anvil. But anyway, the skin worked nice, and I guess I got some extra metal if I need it. Anyway, I forgot I mentioned I was going to do that in one of the other statements that I'd made, so I figured I'd catch you up on that and why I didn't make my own skin. So anyway, that's it for now.